So this stamp craze, it's been a long while. I was having some personal issues and family issues and so on. So I was not able to put out anything in my channel. It's nearly dead. The channel is almost nearly dead, but I will try to resuscitate it once in a while by putting some controversial videos or something. In today's video, what we're going to see is that the theory or doctrine of reincarnation. I have been studying about reincarnation for the past few years or so, but you have to be certain about the fact that I am not an expert in this. I can clearly say, as anybody else would know, that I am not an expert in any of the Hindu scriptures or any of the Hindu concepts. I'm just learning. I'm just trying to question. I'm just putting out my own opinions here, and I could be very well wrong. That's totally fine. I'm ready to learn and grow. The problem with the Hindu theology and Hindu philosophy is that there is nobody there to teach us what those doctrines are. It's not open for discussion to anyone outside that closed circle of Hinduism. Only Hindus are allowed to talk about it, to comment about it and all that, and anybody who comments about it, it's usually like you are not fit for it, you are not worthy about it, you are. So it becomes very difficult for us to actually decipher what these theological terms are, and most of the things that I'm learning are from Western Hindu converts. So those are the people who are openly discussing these topics on the internet or putting out videos and so on. So recently there was a debate on reincarnation between Sakshi Apologetics and a couple of ISKCON members, including the person named Theology Unleashed in YouTube, Mr. Arjuna. So that discussion was really interesting, and I really do not know who won that debate actually. I think they were discussing and different, trying to attack different viewpoints. I feel that there is a lot more to discuss on reincarnation than that. I feel that Sakshi Apologetics could have done much better than what was done there. But anyway, I hope that they will put a separate video explaining everything in detail, probably. So what I'm going to do today is that I'm going to deal with bad objections to reincarnation. I'm trying to steel man the position of reincarnation so that probably in the future when I learn more about reincarnation, I will be able to present a proper objection to what reincarnation is. So in the beginning of the video, by Warden Christian, he explains that Hinduism created this concept of reincarnation. That's not necessarily true. Reincarnation is very common to most of the ancient societies, the Mayans, the Aborigines, the native Africans, many of them Africans, Chinese, Japanese. These people had concepts of reincarnation all through the ages. If you want to appeal to numbers and appeal to popularity, then certainly reincarnation has an upper hand. But that is not the case. That is a fallacy. We don't need to do that.
Number 1. If reincarnation is true, mankind should be progressing, human nature and conduct should be improving. But the truth is, moral depravity is worsening as the Bible anticipates.
So going to the first objection, what he says is that if reincarnation is true, there should be an improvement in the morality, improvement in the quality, there should be a progressive improvement in human endeavors and so on. But that is not necessarily what the Hindu or Hindu scriptures claims ever. In fact, on the contrary, they are saying that we are in the so-called Kali Yuga, which is going to be filled with a lot of evil and bad stuff. So if you really want to appeal to this concept of we are getting worse and worse with time, which is not necessarily true actually. It is not true. This is a concept put out by end time preachers who keep warning again and again that wars are increasing, earthquakes are increasing, natural disasters are increasing, evil is increasing. That is not necessarily true. From what sociologists are saying, there is no specific indication that our generation is more evil or more worse than our previous generations. I don't think there is any specific evidence for that. Or either that, or we are ignorant of the evils that were present in the time of Greco-Roman societies, or in ancient Native American societies, or Aboriginal African societies. We are simply not aware of those evils, so we think that we are getting more and more evil compared to those civilizations. That is not necessarily true. So that argumentation really fails because it is not only unbiblical, it is also not reflected in nature. And if it is true, it is also consistent with the Hindu doctrine of Kali Yuga, which we don't want to really do, right?
Number 2. Almost 99.9% of the population has no memory of their previous lives, and those who was not scientifically proven. If we are all a product of previous life cycles, why don't we remember our previous lives? How can we work off bad karma if we don't recognize our previous mistakes and make it correct in this life? And the burden is still upon us for next 1000 births too, which makes no sense.
Now coming to the next objection, this is actually an interesting one. It should be kept in mind, but at the same time, I don't think the argument presented by Verdant was actually valid. What he is saying is that if it is true that reincarnation is taking place, then we would have clear memory of our past life, so that we are going to learn from our mistakes and maybe correct it in this life, so that we are going to progressively get better and better. In a sense, that argument needs to be explained better, but that's for some other day. This concept is usually objected by Hindus by saying that we don't have memories of most of the part of our previous life, right? Most of the part of the life that we have lived till now. Let's say that we are 30 years of age, and we don't remember 99% of what has happened till now. We have concepts and we have learned things, and it is in the subconscious memory. We usually use it involuntarily. Many of the things like our mathematics or logic or how we behave and so on and so forth, these are how you eat or how you brush. You don't think about it specifically, you don't think about where you learned it, what are the mistakes specifically, but you still know that you have learned it somewhere and you are able to apply it sufficiently. So in the same kind of argumentation, the Hindus would object that we are learning from our past experiences. We don't necessarily need to have memories of that. Which also brings us to the next question of certain instances where people are able to recall past life memories. That is a separate topic. We need to probably deal with it in a scholarly manner. That's a different topic. Whether that is valid or not, whether it is evidence for reincarnation or not, is a major question, and it should be dealt with. You cannot just brush it aside by saying that there is no evidence for reincarnation. That is not valid. That's not the way to go forward.
Number 3. Though there are some people who claim to recall past lives, the Bible reveals that demons have existed for millennia. These demons are able to place thoughts in a person's mind in order to deceive.
The next objection is someone goes like this. There will be some demonic forces that are recollecting memories from some other person and putting it into your mind. This kind of an objection works both ways. If you are going to say that, then you should also agree that if it is possible for a demon to overrule your free will and try to over-encompass your own understanding and make you believe some certain memories or certain concepts of some supposed previous life, then where do you really put a line? You could also say that your belief in Jesus Christ or your Christian theology is fully perpetrated by some demon out there trying to mislead you into some other false god. It works both ways. You cannot use an argument that works both ways.
Number 4. If we are all being recycled, where are all the new babies coming from? There were an estimated 100 million souls a few thousand years ago, but today, we're approaching 7 billion people. Some way, reincarnation denies a creator God. So, where are all these souls coming from? Number 5.
This objection is a very poorly made argument that has been debunked so easily, so many times, but this comes up again and again. Where are the new souls coming up from? There are objections to this concept again. Some Hindus claim that there are other planes of existence, other dimensions, other planets in the universe in which we are also going to be reborn in those places. That is also too much of a stretch. I understand that. That's also an objection to reincarnation and that concept of reincarnation, but that's a different topic. What I'm saying is there is no particular concept in Hindu philosophy that says only humans are getting reincarnated. There is no such concept. Animals, birds, plants, all of them are getting reincarnated. So you don't really have a specific. So you don't have a specific problem in appealing that there are new souls coming up. Maybe from lower animals, maybe from plants. There are even few sects of Hindus who actually believe that the non-living entities that you find around you, stones, rocks, those things are also reincarnation. They have an Atma. So this argument doesn't work at all.
5. To break free from reincarnation, one must live a harmless life. You can't even kill a microbe. Yet our immune system kills millions each day. This means there is no hope of ever escaping the cycle of karma.
Okay, so next argument, he supposedly says that you need to live a harmless life to be reincarnated into the next higher form. Again, you need to quote specific verses and try to back up your claims. Otherwise, you are just strawmanning the Hindu position. Basically, the concept of reincarnation is really experience over the different life forms. You are just experiencing different types of life, different types of emotions, and so on and so forth. You don't specifically say whether it is. Some of them even not even define whether it is really like living a good life or bad life. So these arguments may not work against such Hindus. And again, whether they consider microbes as Atma or not is also another question, and I don't know whether they will be able to answer in a proper way. Maybe microbes are not Atma, they don't have an Atma, they are not reincarnation. Then in that case, killing them is not a big issue, you know. And what about those, and what about the concept of like killing without your knowledge, unintentionally? In those situations, you cannot be like held viable, you cannot be held liable for such killing, right? So I don't know if this objection is a good objection.
Number 6. If you see a beggar wallowing in the gutter, don't you dare help him. He is working off bad karma. If you help him now, he will just have to come back in another lifetime to work off his bad karma all over again.
Coming to the final objection, this has been a question that I have asked, and I have seen many Hindus say this. Actually, they have admitted this to be the case. They see something bad happening to someone, and they start assuming that automatically they deserved it. Some Hindus are saying that, and this argument will definitely work against such fundamentalistic Hindus. I don't know whether every Hindu will accept this kind of an argument, because they feel that if somebody is suffering and you help that person, you are getting karma. Their karma may not be affected, but they are getting karma. So by helping these poor suffering souls, they might get a good improvement or good brownie point on the karma system, whatever it is. That can be an objection for this. So there can be an objection for this argument. So even if the person is really suffering, you are not going to be like completely relieve that suffering very much, and also the complete perspective of the Hindu needs to be different in these situations. There are some Hindus who look at that suffering person and say, you deserved it. You probably did something bad in your previous birth and you are suffering. In such a case, this argument is valid. That kind of fundamentalism should be really renounced by the Hindus. But there are also other people who look at the same situation and feel like, this person is experiencing life. We should help him out along with that. We should just cooperate and help him with the suffering that he is going through. So that can also be the case. And by helping that person, you are also getting some karmatic brownie points or something. So it can work that way. It is a good argument. We should really build up upon that and probably counter some sects and some Hindus who are believing that kind of a dehumanizing concept of humans. They see suffering and they simply just say that it is because of some past event, which is pretty ridiculous. But nonetheless, I don't see any of these arguments to be extremely powerful against the concept of reincarnation. So we have a very daunting task of really dealing with this whole concept properly. One thing is to theologically define these concepts, theologically be strong in what reincarnation is, and then to actually put out the theological issues put out by those Hindus by saying that reincarnation gives us more chance to really learn from our mistakes. God is being more merciful by giving us more real chances. And there is also the concept of reincarnation in the Bible. How we are going to really explain that reincarnation, like in the case of we are going to be given glorified bodies in new heaven and new earth. What is that supposed to mean? It is also a form of reincarnation or something. What about Jesus Christ, who was God and who became a flesh? What about that? Do you want to call that as reincarnation, or do you want to call something as something different by just and avoid the term reincarnation? These are objections that needs to be dealt with. And any of my friends, Hindu or Christian or whoever it is, if you are interested in discussing this, maybe we can go through this in next few videos and maybe get a clear idea of it.